Hey guys, what's up? And today we are going to talk about the books that I read in April. So April was a very weird month for me. My mental health kind of plummeted like a lot of you guys, and so not too much reading went on. I did end up reading 7 books, which is a pretty good month. I was very hard on myself last month with me being upset I read 9 books, even though I range between 6 to 10 books, and that's 9 books is not terrible. I think it was just that most of the time I wasn't reading. It was mostly at the beginning and the end where I had spurts of a lot of reading. So I really shouldn't be mad at myself about that, especially during this time. But we do expect that we are going to read more during quarantine because we have all this time now. But that's not what's happening. But I did read some very, very, very good books this month. I did have an April TBR, but I only ended up reading 2 of them from that stack. I started all of them. Did not finish 3 of them. I'm going to start off with my 1-star for this month, and I only had 1 book, and it was called The Dream by Jean Defoe. And this was just a very odd graphic novel. The graphics were fine. I didn't have an issue with the graphics. They were like a normal graphic novel. The issue was, I don't know what happened in this story. I basically just got that this woman took this sex performer and helped him get into acting, but not really. And there's a lot of other storylines that made no sense. I thought maybe I started a series from a different book, but apparently this is number 1. I won't be continuing the series because I don't understand what happened in the first one. But yeah, so I can't really give you a review for it because I don't know what happened. Now onto my 2-star book of this month, and this was a very sad 2-star just because I had high hopes for this. This was my book for a book that might make me cry, and it 100% did not. I did not care about this character whatsoever. The book is Still Alice by Lisa Genova. This was not great. The problem is you need to be connected to Alice from the very beginning, otherwise you won't care about her through the whole story. And that's what this is. This is a character story. It's her progression through Alzheimer's, and if you don't care about her, then you're not going to care about the story because she's the whole story. And it is sad that you see her progression through Alzheimer's, but there's also this whole plot where if she can't remember these couple of questions, she doesn't know the answers to them, then she will go to a file in her computer and basically kill herself. And so there's this whole plot of her doing it, and like it's pointless. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, you can see her progression of her not being able to answering the questions, but like she doesn't end up killing herself. Spoiler alert, but also not. Like, it's just frustrating. You get to the end and it's just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, I didn't shed any tear in this book, which is really sad because I do like to read books that make me cry. But like, also, you would think that this book about Alzheimer's would make you cry. But I just wasn't connected to any of the characters. So that's why I gave it 2 stars, because the writing is very beautiful, but it just doesn't make up for the lack of interest in the novel. So yeah, that's why I gave it 2 stars. I'm going to be unhauling it, but this was a book in my these books will self-destruct in 12 months because I've had it forever. Glad I read it to get it off my shelf, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you can easily fall in love with the character. There was no build to it. It was just like, oh shit, she has Alzheimer's. So now we get to my 3 stars. I have 2 3 stars that they were good books, but it just wasn't out of this world amazing. So they were fine. I would advise them, obviously, but they're nothing special. The first 3-star is Out of My Mind by Sharon M. Dreyer. And I enjoyed this book. I listened to it on audiobook because I don't have a copy and I couldn't find a copy. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good book. I think it's more for the younger audience, which is good because of what this book talks about. So this book is about a girl who has cerebral palsy, and she is put into a class with people who have learning disabilities, and they really just think she's stupid because she can't talk, she can't walk, and they really just think she's stupid. And you get to see how those students are treated by other students and their teachers. I think it's a very interesting way of looking at things, and the main character, I forgot her name, but she is so fun to listen to her thoughts. My next 3-star might be a little controversial, but I think I've been giving all of these books 3 stars. So this is the first book in the series that I've never read, and so now I'm on to the journey of all the books I haven't read in this series, and it is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I gave this 3 stars because I thought it was good, but these books, like, maybe if I read them younger, they would be more loved by me, but I don't know. They're fun. They're a fun ride, but they don't give me anything special, and that's why I think that I just give them 3 stars. Everyone knows what Harry Potter is, so I'm not gonna talk about what this one is about, but I thought it was a fun ride, but there really wasn't much. The writing's okay. I heard that Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallow are the best ones, and the Goblet of Fire, so we'll see. But yeah, this one didn't impress me much, and yeah, I really don't have much to say about this one. Now it's time to get to my 4 stars. They were some good-ass books, I will tell you. So the first one is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. And I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did. I started reading this, I think in January, and I've been meaning to finish it, but I just never got to the point where I wanted to. And I will admit, the beginning is a little slow, and that's why this book got 4 stars. But overall, absolutely wonderful. This is about a woman who has been obsessed with this river, or this lake, some body of water. She's obsessed with this body of water, and then she is actually found dead in that body of water. And it's just a story about wondering what actually happened to her. You don't know till the very end. Like, it's crazy. And I'm still shook. But they just assume that this is a body of water that troublesome women go into because they're drawn to it. And it's basically her daughter, her sister that she has not talked to in a very long time, and a few detectives that are trying to figure out why all of these women, because there have been at least 3 others besides her, that have drowned in this body of water. So it's just an interesting take on the idea of troublesome women, and it's where the troublesome women go to be rid of the world, I guess. But somehow, in all of the cases, men are the reason that they have found themselves in this body of water, whether they were pushed, whether they were trying to save a man, whether it was just a loss of love. It's wild. But I think this is amazing, and I'm currently reading Girl on the Train, and I'm not loving it as much as I am in love with this. So I feel like this one should get more hype than Girl on the Train so far. I haven't finished Girl on the Train, so I don't know. The next 4-star is The Child Finder by Renee Denfeld. This book was on my TBR for a female protagonist. And did this book give me a female protagonist? I don't even know how to describe my love for this book. I would have given it 5 stars, but I gave it 4 stars because there were some slow parts that I was just like, okay, like, Like, it's only like 200 something pages, but there was points where I'm like, this book is longer than necessary. There are paragraphs in here that are very unnecessary. So this is about Naomi, and she is a child finder. She has given up her whole life to find children, and she is on the search for Madison, who has been lost for 3 years. And as she is trying to find Madison, she begins to remember what has happened to her. There's some love that could be problematic. And it's just very interesting to get into the mindset of Naomi and how absolutely heartbreaking it is. It's absolutely heartbreaking how Naomi's life has come together, I guess. She doesn't remember much from her being kidnapped. She doesn't know who her actual mother is, and they don't even know she's alive. The next book, this was a 5-star, obviously. My love for these books will forever exist. I really didn't think this book was going to age well, because I read this back in like 2011, and so I really didn't expect this to age well whatsoever. But it is Divergent. And I kept my rating of 5 stars because, I mean, it's Divergent. It is absolute perfection. If you've never heard of this series, this is the Divergent series. It is beautiful. It is just one of the best books you will ever read. And it is about Beatrice, or Triss, who has to decide which faction she wants to be in. Because in this world, there is nothing else but 5 factions, and each of them have a quality in which they think the world needed whenever it ended. She's such a badass, and I highly recommend this if you haven't read it, but I also highly recommend you to reread it, because it's just as beautiful as the first time that I read it. And Triss and 4, listen. We stan. We will always stan Triss and 4. They are the original, like, couple. Hunger Games could never. I hope you enjoyed this wrap up, and I will see you in the next one.